Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Top 10 Canadian Stereotypes Debunked. I do not know what kind of stereotypes we're going to be debunking, but I would assume Canadians are probably bothered by the idea of them being super polite and super, just sort of, I don't know if friendly, because nobody cares if I think you're friendly, but I think just that overly politeness, I think they're probably a little bit bothered by it just because people can make fun of it. And probably, and the one that they're not constantly saying, eh, but I think that's not true. I do think they say that quite a bit. But let's check it out and comment, like and subscribe.
Come along as we investigate the elusive, often misunderstood, mysterious people of the Great White North. Welcome
They're not that mysterious and they're not that unknown. Just putting it out there.
to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 stereotypes of Canada. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at the most popular myths and most widespread stereotypes about Canada and Canadians. This is all in good fun, of course. So if you don't like it, take off, hoser.
Well, after you get some free penicillin compliments of the Socialist Republic of Canada...
Wait, really?
Number 10. Canadians live off of Tim Hortons.
Here I am.
I don't know how true that is, but it's the equivalent of, I don't know, someone saying Americans live up Starbucks, maybe?
In the most Canadian place in the universe, Tim Hortons, around the corner from the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Jeez, you get one big
Canadian
coffee
or
franchise
Canadian?
in your country and the whole world starts thinking it's your primary source of sustenance.
Is it
It's
though?
true, few chains are more prolific in the Great White North than Tim Hortons. As of 2013, Canada's homegrown coffee franchise had over 3,000 locations nationwide, more than double the 1,400 McDonald's franchises in the country in 2014.
Okay, because I was gonna say, well, I don't think it doesn't seem like a lot, but yeah, if it's more popular than McDonald's, I get it now.
But while Tim's reigns supreme when it comes to double-doubles, ice caps, bagels, and donuts, Canadians don't really go there for their meals. Even so,
Oh.
Timmy's is inextricably linked to Canadiana. After all,
Okay, so what do? They just go for coffee?
there's nothing more
Sometimes.
Canadian than a fast food restaurant founded by a hockey player.
You're nuttier than a Tim Hortons maple log. Timmy, no!
Number 9. All Canadians are or dress
Oh.
like lumberjacks.
Of course not.
Canada's lumber industry is a big one, playing a major role in the country's economy. But they've kept up with technological advancements, and therefore very little actual access.
It's not as if you're throwing them a phone and this is the first time I'm seeing this. What is this device?
Swinging takes place. You likely have many machine operators and sawmill workers, but outside of lumberjack competitions, very few people employed in the logging industry would call
Lumberjack competitions? What on earth is that?
themselves lumberjacks, unless they're trying to get laid. However, lumberjack fashion is a bit more of a gray area. We're all for the plaid shirts, cozy scarves, and well-worn jeans. Plus, lumber beards are great during those long Canadian winters.
I bet.
Bring on the lumber sexuals, eh? Number 8. All Canadian police officers wear Mountie uniforms.
Oh, shit!
If they do not, then what even is the point?
Royal Canadian Mounted Police, folks. Please have your passports and declaration forms out and ready.
On the subject of Canadian fashion, most cops in Canada dress similarly to their American counterparts.
I don't like
They're
that.
the boys and girls in blue. Sure, Dudley Do-Right was a Mountie and helped popularize that particular garb, but he's far from representative of law enforcement across the nation. The baggy on top
I don't like that because I think it makes them distinct. So if you take that away, then it's sort of, it's pointless.
straight at the bottom dark blue pants, called jodhpurs, bright
What
red
are those
jacket,
pants?
and campaign hat are only worn by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, or Mounties for short.
The
And
Mounties.
even then, Mounties only wear this outfit, known as the Red Surge, on formal occasions. As you can imagine, it's not the ideal
Oh.
crime-fighting outfit. For day-to-day operations, they sport much more conventional police attire.
Many of you
Okay, so if you want to see the real Mounties, then you have to go on a special and formal event. Okay, good to know.
are wondering what's wrong with my pants. Well,
Yes.
they started running short of material right before they got to the knees, so Don't give me any shit.
Number 7.
What?
Canadians put maple syrup on everything.
I happen to know everything there is to know about maple syrup. I love maple syrup.
Who
I love maple
doesn't?
syrup on pancakes. I love it on pizza. I like to take maple syrup and put a little bit in my hair when I've had a rough week. What do you think holds it up, Slick?
Maple syrup
What?
is delicious. Given that it comes from maple trees and that the maple leaf is the symbol of Canada, Canadians have no one to blame but themselves for this stereotype. The average Canadian probably wouldn't be caught dead
But it's a good stereotype.
putting pancake syrup on their flapjacks or waffles. That artificial stuff is pretty much sacrilege in syrup country.
It's just sugar.
But most Canadians aren't taking shots of maple syrup and whiskey at the bar, or mixing it into their breakfast cereal either.
Okay,
Maple
well.
syrup is much more of a Quebec obsession than a Canada-wide one. But even in
What?
that province, tourists visiting from abroad are much more likely to abuse the sweet stuff than locals.
Well, yeah, because they can get it all year round. But if you're a tourist, then you can only get it there. So I get why tourists obviously consume more.
Number 6. Canadians have pet polar bears, moose, and or beavers.
Our characters have
Not a polar bear, but I would bet some Canadians do have beavers, I would think, as pets.
pet beavers.
No. Contrary to popular
Okay,
belief,
no.
Canadians are not master exotic pet wranglers. Keeping a polar bear is like keeping a pet lion or tiger.
Of course.
As in, it's a terrible idea for the average individual, and the
Average, I would say anyone. You're not keeping a polar bear. The polar bear kind of keeps you.
quickest route to the ER or morgue.
Yeah.
Moose, which can grow up to 5 feet tall, weigh up to 1,600
No.
pounds, and walk away from an accident with an SUV, would make equally terrible pets.
Yes.
Beavers are admittedly kind of cute.
Yeah.
And sure, a few oddballs may keep one as a pet, but they're hardly common in
See, I knew it. Some odd ones. So it tells me some people do definitely own beavers.
households, and would likely wreak havoc on hardwood furniture. The average Canadian probably hasn't even seen many of these animals outside of a zoo.
Okay.
Number 5.
I think you can keep a beaver as a pet. I don't think that would be, well, it would be a little weird. But if you're in Canada, maybe I wouldn't find it that weird.
Canadians live in igloos.
Well,
This
no.
stereotype is a pretty outdated one, so hopefully the average non-Canadian person knows it's false.
Yes.
But to any remaining believers, you realize that Canadians have electricity, right?
Yeah.
And cars and televisions and
Yeah.
like skyscrapers and stuff. They also have a major lumber industry, meaning plenty of wood to build homes. Oh,
Although, isn't there an area in which probably they have igloos? Maybe, I don't know. I know there's really up north. I don't know what's out there.
Canada also gets a little season called summer, bringing with it all the usual summer fun like warm weather and a distinct lack of snow.
Yes, but then again, are those really up north areas? Do they get a summer as in the ice melts? I doubt it.
Crucial ingredient needed to build an igloo. In short, the average Canadian does not live in an igloo and has likely never even spent a night in one.
Yeah, of course.
Number 4. All Canadians play hockey.
President
Well, yeah, probably there are some people who don't like sports. Maybe they just do not play sports.
Obama just rightly recognized as being extraordinary contributors to the American success story is Jonathan Taves, Duncan Keith, and Patrick Shark of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Who are these people?
To be fair, Canadians do kind of kill it when it comes to hockey. Despite the fact that American NHL franchises outnumber Canadian teams by more than 3-1, roughly half of the players in the National Hockey League are Canadian. We'd be lying if we said hockey isn't incredibly popular in Canada, and it is inseparably intertwined with the nation's cultural identity. The world's first recorded organized indoor hockey game took place in Montreal, a city that would go on to form what's considered the first official hockey club.
What year was it? I would bet that it was a long, long time ago.
However, kids in Canada play football more than hockey for the same reason football's so popular around the world. It's much more
Okay, football as in the soccer one. I guess.
affordable and accessible.
And there's kids
Is it hockey least accessible? Yeah, what I guess. Yeah, sure.
playing
You didn't answer.
hockey on the back. It's like you want us to make fun of you.
Number 3. Canadians apologize way too much.
Sorry.
apologize too much.
Sorry about that.
Wouldn't the world be
Sorry
a better
for
place if this
apologizing.
were true, not only in Canada but everywhere? Imagine a society where people always took responsibility for things rather than passing the buck. Sadly,
true.
this overly apologetic utopia remains a fantasy, even in Canada. Yes, Canadians do apologize a lot, often saying sorry instead of excuse me. If two Canadians bump into one another, they're both likely to apologize. But this tendency to constantly apologize, or the accompanying myth that all Canadians are super nice, is only limited to benign situations.
We're gonna put the boots to you. Sorry.
It's all right. We're gonna gouge your eyes out and kick your head in. Sorry.
Canadians still argue, have road rage, get into fights, and stubbornly refuse to apologize. Any visitors would do
Well, yeah, of course, if you're in a personal situation, but I don't know if I believe this.
well to remember that. Sorry, but it's the truth.
Take off, hoser.
Whoa.
That's it.
Hey.
Oh, scrap!
Guys, come on! For America!
Number 2, Canada is always cold.
Because I always got the same response. Canada? Wow. Must have been cold.
I
Yeah.
already touched on this when setting the whole igloo thing straight, but Canada is not an eternally frigid wasteland of ice and snow.
Hey, Psycho Man, what you smoking?
Why did you wear coat?
smoking. I'm breathing.
Yes, the sparsely
freezing.
populated far north is quite cold, like it literally reaches into the Arctic. And
Yeah.
across the board, Canadian winters can result in many feet or centimeters of snow, as well as months upon months of sub-zero temperatures. But Canadian summers get plenty hot. The average high during the summer months in major Canadian cities like Montreal and Toronto reaches into the high 70s and low 80s.
Well-
For you Canadians out there,
That's okay.
the high 20s and low 30s. No one's gonna
I mean, that's hot, but it's not incredibly hot. It's not a heat wave.
call Canada a tropical paradise, but always cold is an unfair assessment of its weather.
It's true.
Number 1, all Canadians say a lot.
I'm sorry, but that's true.
Yeah, looks like you got some water leakage. You might need a hose, eh?
Jose, Roberto, whatever. If you got some Latinos up here that can fix cars, that'd be great.
No, I mean, it looks like you need a part, eh?
Well, yeah, when it's fixed, we can celebrate, but let's deal with first things first.
Some
What?
Canadians do say a quite often, but a quick tip for travelers. They don't find it interesting when you point it out.
Of course.
It's a great way to get punched by a Canadian.
Yeah.
Then hear him or her not apologize. A is often used in the same context that Americans say huh or right at the end of a
Oh,
sentence
yeah.
as a way to
Yeah.
invite a confirmation.
Stanley Cup, Game 6, eh? The Rangers are about to be sorry they ever played shinny with the Canucks.
It can also
The
be
Canadian
used to
accent.
replace
Accent.
pardon. In reality, many cultures have an equivalent interjection. In Canada, the use
Sure.
of a is very regional. Some populations use it frequently, others almost never.
Okay.
After all, Canada's a big country, eh?
Hey, I gonna spilled the mustard on my favorite shirt.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo and subscribe for new videos every day.
Okay, I think some of these things are true. I think some others are probably not that true. I'm sorry. I think the one that's really funny to me is the one that's obviously, because it's not in a bad way. The whole, for instance, the whole apologizing all the time, but it's not just apologize, it's the sorry and the a. I think, of course I don't like it when you point it out, but I don't think it's necessarily in a bad way. It doesn't mean, I don't think, it can come across, I think, as, oh, they're making fun of me. But it's not necessarily that people are making fun of Canadians. I think it's just, it's cute. It's, oh, of course they do this. Of course it would be kind of rude to point it out, especially if you don't really know the person, or again, if you're a tourist, I think it would be seen as, okay, I don't know, you're coming to my country and you're kind of making fun of me, but it's not making fun of you. I think it's just pointing things out. But again, I don't think you should definitely point those things out because, they know. It's as if, I don't know, maybe not as strong, but I think it would be the equivalent of people making comments on somebody else's body is, okay, well, you don't need to tell the person they have a mirror, they can see it for themselves. So I really do think it's why point those things out. They already know, they say a lot of a, and they apologize maybe a little bit. Again, it's more as an interjection. I don't think they're constantly saying sorry just because they actually believe, oh, I have to apologize very strongly to this person. No, of course not. And that doesn't mean that, oh, they're just super, they never fight, they're not confrontational. Well, I think, yes, of course, sometimes, like they said, sometimes they get road rage sometimes they get in fights, of course. It's normal. People sometimes fight, they have discussions, and they have arguments. So, of course, Canadians are not the exception. Of course, they're also going to do this, and that doesn't, the sorry of it all and the constantly apologizing doesn't really forbid them from doing this. And I do really think it's more as in probably maybe strangers, because I think you're not, I mean, usually, I think you're not constantly, or you're just not going to fight with strangers, unless obviously a very specific situation happens and you're getting into a fight with a stranger, because I don't know what kind of things can happen. I don't know, some sort of situations in which you kind of, oh, I'm getting into an argument with this stranger because of something very specific has happened. In, you know, you're running errands, someone caught in line, or I don't know, some other thing, or even the road rage situation. Maybe, I don't know, someone tried to run you over. You're crossing with your bike and someone tried to run you over with their car. Something of the sort. I think those kind of situations are sort of, oh, okay, someone's trying to do it. Someone did this, and of course you're going to be annoyed, and of course you're not going to pick up a fight, but you're going to, hey, you know, you're going to maybe call that person out. But I think usually, again, and with strangers, sometimes maybe they're less confrontational in that sense, maybe. But of course, when you're personal with someone that you know, usually it's people that you care about and people that you love. You have arguments, whether that's friends, family members, partners. You can't fight because that's just, sometimes it happens, and you can't agree on everything. And some people, obviously, they do things that annoy you or whatever. So of course, in that sense, of course they're gonna fight with the ones they love. But I think, again, usually you kind of tend to pick up arguments with people that mean something to you and you care about them, and not strangers. Because if it's a stranger, you just don't care. I'm never seeing this person again in my life, so, and I don't know them, so it has no bearing on my life. But I think with loved ones, I think it's when people get into arguments and fights just because, again, it's someone that's going to be in your life, and it is in your life. So I think maybe, again, it's a stereotype, but again, I think like any normal person, of course they're gonna fight. It's not just, oh no, they'll never pick up a fight ever. No, of course not. The other thing I found really funny was the ice cold. Oh, it's an ice cold frozen land. Well, no, I get what they mean. Not all of Canada is like that. Canada is huge, yes, of course. Do they have harsh winters? I would assume yes, of course. Does it snow a lot? Yes, of course. But I get it's not just the frozen sort of landscape that I sometimes think about, but I also wanna, to play sort of devil's advocate. Of course, I think the bigger cities that are sort of in the southern part of Canada, as in the big ones, Toronto, Vancouver, Quebec, Montreal, those sort of, Manitoba, those kind of cities. And again, I know that Canada is sort of populated. The only populated area I think is the southern area. So it's okay. Yeah, I get that kind of a stereotype. Yeah, of course, you're not gonna find those frozen wastelands in those big cities. However, if the further up north you go, I would assume, is it really a stereotype? Because I would assume it's not a stereotype. That's for real. It's just nobody lives there, and if nobody lives there because it's very cold. Well, what am I? I'm expecting to be a frozen landscape, obviously, because again, no one lives there. So what? And you're near the Arctic. So what am I going to be able to find? It's just snow and ice. So again, that's a little. I get they don't like it when you assume. Oh yeah, the sort of the clip about the person, I think they were sort of coming, I think maybe it was an airport, and they were, oh, it's so completely cold. It's okay, well, I get it. It's not all parts of Canada or like that every single day of the year. But there are parts that I would say, yeah, well, that's true. Although again, I wouldn't dream of calling someone, I don't know, from Vancouver being, oh, you must be super cold. Is, well, yeah, I mean, they don't really like it. So it's really funny. The other, I think the one thing I will say though that I found kind of, yeah, again, I don't know if it's true. Obviously, I don't know if it's illegal or if it's illegal or legal. I have no idea. But the keeping beavers, obviously, no one's keeping a polar bear as a pet. That would be ridiculous. You can't. It's a wild animal. You can't tame them. But I mean, the beaver ones, and they mentioned even in the clip in the video, they were, oh. Yeah, so maybe another person here and there keeps a beaver. So, okay, you're telling me there is a giant possibility that absolutely people do have them. Again, am I expecting to go to the city of, I don't know, Montreal and finding someone, is that your dog? No, it's a beaver, say hi to them. No, of course not. I'm not expecting that. But maybe in the more rural areas, I'm just saying it wouldn't shock me if someone tells me, oh, I own a beaver as a pet. I mean, it would be weird, yeah, of course, but I wouldn't expect that to happen anywhere else. But in Canada, I will be, fair. I have a lot of questions, of course, because again, can you legally own them? Can you put a chip on them in case they get lost? Do you take them to the bed? What do they eat? Where do you keep them? I guess not in an apartment. You have to keep them in a lake, maybe, I don't know, near bodies of water in the woods. Do they have a leash? I don't know. I would be very intrigued by the whole situation, but I wouldn't be that, I don't know, that weirded out. I would have questions, but I wouldn't find it that surprising. I don't know. So maybe it's me just falling to the Canadian. Oh, the Canadians, of course, they do this. But I'm just saying, I don't think that would be that weird. Just because I am imagining they have a lot of wild animals, including beavers, all around. So I don't know. They're cute. So why wouldn't you keep them as a pet? So I don't know. Maybe I have to speak to a Canadian and see. Have you ever known someone to own a beaver? Is it common? Or maybe, it's one of those things in which, I have a friend of a cousin of mine owns a beaver or something of the sort. But again, I would love it. But this was really a really funny video, just because I think, have they been debunked? Well, sort of, a little bit. Yeah, some of them. But some of them, I really do think it's true. It's more about, do not point them out, because I think it would be quite offensive to Canadians, because they already know. So maybe I think that would be a fair assessment of it. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!